Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to the Spin Zone. I am your host, Spin Doc, here on behalf of the Daily Bread Network. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Daily Bread Network on YouTube. Helps get you access to all the content that we put out. Please like and share the video if you like what you hear, and also follow me at Spin Doc Sports. So we had a short Monday in the books. We also had one of the pitchers that we talked about got scratched. McCullers went on the shelf again, unfortunately, cannot stay healthy. And then the other two were one was a trap that we actually avoided in VIP, and hope you did too. So Dylan Cease went absolutely ballistic when he struck out the first 5 guys that he faced and finished with 9. And it wasn't even anything special either. I think he got Ohtani on a slider, on a wicked slider, but the other guys, and maybe I think it was Betts too, but the other ones, he just reared back like Freddie Freeman twice. He just reared back and was just like, here's 99, hit this. Cease was actually touching 100 on the gun, and that's something he doesn't do very often. So when Cease is blowing it at 100, it makes that slider so much more effective. So you really got to watch, because it's also the key point here is that's why velo is so important, because it's just like so many pitchers that we talk about that rely on their fastball as an out pitch, is that when the velo is there, it gives them an extra weapon to get guys out, not where it's just a setup pitch. So if you have excellent placement, like one of the pitchers we're going to talk about today, or if you can run it up in the high 90s or even close to 100, then you can use it as an extra out pitch. Now, that's especially true for pitchers that might only have one other out pitch. It's the same reason we talk about Spencer Strider. Same reason why we talk about other guys that rely on their fastball as an out pitch when it's not there. It really cripples them from a strikeout perspective. So Dylan Cease's fastball was just smoking last night, and it was just high heat. Just here, hit this. And it's another key for the Dodgers is that high heat can get them. It's the soft tossers that they kill. So case in point, over the weekend, Landon Roop, soft tosser, throws an array of breaking balls, which is wonderful. But the Dodgers are such disciplined hitters that you got to be able to blow it, and you got to be able to run and just smoke it past them. And that's exactly what Dylan Cease did. And then, of course, the last one where I see Austin in there. Thanks for joining us, Austin. And give you a shout out first here is Ohtani. I told you. They offered way too many combo props for his strikeouts, and the books ate well last night, which is so weird for a guy that pitched 1 inning. There just wasn't a lot of strikeout potential there. Even if he would have gotten them 1 through 3, he had poor history against Machado. Arise never strikes out, so the only guy to really get was Tatis, or you have to hope somebody gets on base, which they actually did, and then he got somebody else. But overall, from a pitching standpoint, Ohtani didn't look terrible. He really didn't look that bad. He got it up to 100 a few times, up to 100 on the gun. His sweeper was actually looking pretty decent. There are a couple of them that had some bite, but you could tell that it was a guy that hasn't pitched to live MLB competition on the other side in a while. You could just tell there was just a certain level of comfort, like especially when he got guys on 2 strikes, that not that he didn't know what to throw, because Will Smith helped him out there a little bit, but there's just that instinct that you have when you pitch on a regular basis. And so, but the whole goal of Ohtani coming back wasn't to dominate. It wasn't to eat up innings. It was just to set it up for the rest of the game. And that's exactly what happened. And, he allowed an earned run, but overall, I don't think it was an unsuccessful. I don't think it was an unsuccessful outing by any means. It was really cool that the Dodger fans gave him a standing ovation after pitching the 1 inning and kind of his welcome back. And then he responded with a few hits from the plate. So yeah, it was but yeah, the strikeout props, it just never appealed to me at all. And it was really weird trying to think about trying to pay like minus 125, minus 130 for an under 1.5. And so it just wasn't the right scenario in the least. And we'll leave it at that. So I see that Andrew, welcome in, Andrew. Good morning to you as well. Welcome in. You said yesterday the unusual suspects went crazy. Yeah, they did. Logan Gilbert was one for sure. Logan Gilbert was actually on a pitch count too, and I have a general rule that I know Sharpie was on him, and I'm glad it hit, but I typically don't try to mess with guys on a pitch count, and they stuck pretty closely to it. It was 80 to 85, and he threw 84, but that was more than enough to get this trash Boston lineup. So the other one on the other side, I think, Andrew, what you might be referring to a little bit more is Lucas Giolito. My goodness. Talk about a throwback. Now, to be fair, from his time, there actually was at least a little or a good amount of past history with a number of the Mariners hitters. However, the only guy that he'd gotten with any regularity was Jorge Polanco. He's gotten him 9 times, but in 42 plate appearances. So yeah, that. It didn't come out of nowhere because it's the Mariners. But it did come out of nowhere because Lucas and Giolito, like seriously, like for real, just shows you that there is variance galore in this game that we love called baseball. So the other one was and I don't think it was unusual that he got a strikeout prop, but Ryan Pepio just absolutely obliterated the Orioles, and 8 innings, which was a season high by far, and nothing in the line said he was going to go that deep either. But the 11 strikeouts, the Orioles just look hapless right now. They look completely hapless, and the bottom of their lineup combined for 5 strikeouts. Actually, yeah, it was the bottom of their lineup was 1 for 9 with 5 strikeouts, and so they're clearly a team to pick on for the over. The fact that he got the over on his prop was not the headline. The fact that he got 11, that there were some double-digit strikeouts. And then the last one that I wanted to just really quickly talk about was, because we actually did play him in VIP, and it was really disappointing because Clark Schmidt had a season high for innings and struck out 3 in his first 30 pitches and then just nothing the rest of the way. Actually wasn't even trying to strike guys out, to be honest with you. He just went fastballs, and fastballs that induced weak grounders and weak fly balls. So and then on the other side of that one, Jose Soriano pitched a gem, which you wouldn't expect in Yankee Stadium, and struck out 6. So Yankees are not in great form right now. They are coming off a bad series in Boston. They lost in 11 innings last night, and they got 6 hit through 7 innings by Jose Soriano. So we'll see if they can find their offense tonight against an equally meh pitcher with Kyle Hendricks. But we won't be talking about him today. We will be talking about 3 different pitchers that we will and then Andrew, yeah, true. Ryan Gusto with 8 in an emergency start too. Now with the 8, it wasn't so much that it was, because the Athletics lineup right now is very, very top and bottom heavy when it comes to strikeouts. They have a few guys that they brought up due to injuries that are just strikeouts waiting to happen. However, when you just throw Gusto in there at the last minute, because I think it got announced like middle of the day, and you tell a guy who was supposed to be starting tonight that all of a sudden he's starting last night, for a kid like that, yeah, just some strange results across the diamond. So we'll see what tonight brings, but we do have 3 pitchers to talk about as usual. But first, want to give a shout out to the chat for that I haven't talked to yet. Roger, good morning and welcome in. Thank you for joining as always. Mario, good time to have a day. 100% agreed. And I took the day off yesterday. Yeah, we only had one play in VIP. The NBA Finals, I had some leans, but we only had one VIP play yesterday, which is not uncommon for a light day. And JT, welcome in, and happy that you could make it as well. Thank you for being here. And also welcome in Adam's Digest. Doing good, ready to roll. All right, let's get down with the business. We have three pitchers to talk about. As usual, if there's any that we missed or anybody else you want to go over, please put them in the chat. And we will start with the homecoming of Jesus Luzardo, the lefty, striking guys out at 27.6%, walking guys at 7.1%. He gets the Marlins tonight at 6:10 p.m. We have a line pretty close to what I expected here, and about a 6.5 with a plus money over and an under 6.5 at a heavily juiced minus 150. So the 6.5, I believe, comes from a couple things. Number one, the overall average from Luzardo. Number two is the strikeout percentage for the Marlins to lefties, which actually is quite good. It's only 20.6%. And the fact that they are projected to run 9 righties, Luzardo striking out lefties at an unbelievable 45.3% clip compared to righties at a 22.8% clip. So there's a couple things in this line that I want to talk about before I get into hitter by hitter. So number one for Luzardo, and this is something that I did share with VIP as well, but I will share here because we're talking about him, is the really interesting stat for me is that Luzardo, it's his walks. And the reason why it's his walks is because if there's been an Achilles heel throughout his career, it has been walks. Now he averages 1.7 walks per game. And so he goes on the road against a team who in their projected lineup do have they do have, it's about half and half for guys when it comes to who swings and who doesn't. So they have a little bit of chase in them, but not so much where it would adjust to what I'm about to tell you, which Luzardo's walks are usually set at either a heavily juiced to the over 1.5 or a heavily juiced to the under 2.5, which would indicate 2, which is what he's been averaging. Not today. His walks today opened at a minus 140 to minus 150, under 1.5 on the road. Now, granted, this is a place where he used to pitch and he used to be, so there is some familiarity, but he's also for a different team, different catcher, so it is different. Now, in the games where he has walked 2+, which, by the way, has been 9 of his 14 starts. 9 of his 14 starts. So which means 5 of those 14, he has walked 1 or less. In games where he's walked 1 or less batter, Luzardo averages 7.8 strikeouts, and he hasn't had less than 6 in any of them. And this also includes 3 teams that are in the top half of not striking out, being the Cubs, the Athletics at the time, and the Diamondbacks. So, and that also includes these same Marlins. So, Luzardo is not, so when Luzardo doesn't walk guys, he does pitch exceptionally well, and he also has a lot of opportunities for strikeouts. So we go hitter by hitter, and we do see that there is, I talked about how there's some chase in this lineup. We do have 5 of the 9 that do chase above league average, including one, which is Norby, who's projected to be in the 6 hole, who chases way above league average and doesn't make contact when he does. So there's 2 dead spots that I see in this lineup, and there's 2 that I would really prefer who are not in today. One is Edwards, 2 is Fortes. Edwards is projected to lead off. Fortes is projected to be in the 8 hole. If either one of those 2 aren't in, there's not a whole lot of other guys that the Marlins can put in their place that would equal what their contact rates are. Reason being is because Fortes is only K'ing to lefties, and this is a real stat, 9.4%, and he has almost a 90% zone contact rate. Same thing with Edwards, and both of them have incredible chase contacts as well. So you have to consider both of those 2 dead spots. Now, the question is, can we get to 7 without them? So if the Marlins are going to bat the kid Ramirez, he's a no, not Ramirez, Hernandez. Ramirez is second. If they're going to bat Hernandez in the 3-hole, that is a 1+ waiting to happen. A lot of promise in the kid, but he is striking out to lefties at 43.8%, and he also chases a bunch and has a zone or chase contact rate of under 55%. So a lot of potential here for strikeouts. He's also to the out pitches that Luzardo has, those being the sweeper and the change. He's got almost a 50% whiff rate to both. Granted, it's in limited plate appearances, but even if you go back and look at some of his stuff in the minors, it matches up well. So if they're going to bat him in the top 3, which means that Luzardo could potentially, almost for sure face him 3 times, maybe a 4th, I would say 3. Then you have the potential, you have 1 for sure, and you have the potential for 2. The next ones, I talked about Connor Norby. Wagaman is also a high K candidate. Luzardo's gotten him 2 out of the 4 times he's faced him. He also has a very, very poor chase contact rate at 45% and also has a decent whiff percentage to a sweeper. So you have in the top 6, you have Hernandez, Wagaman, and Norby, who are all very, very high strikeout candidates. There is a world where Luzardo faces all 3 of them 3 times. So if he gets those 3 in this, if this is the lineup 9 times, there is the potential for 4 or even probably 4. There's a potential for 4 strikeouts there, which makes what that does then is even if they run Edwards and Fortes, that negates the dead spots. So next you have Myers, Forte, and Sonoja. Now, I talked about Fortes already. Myers, I do think that is very, very K-able, even though his lefty K percentage isn't that great. However, you do have a very, very low zone contact rate at 79.3, which even that actually negates his chase contact because he does take pitches. And Luzardo, when he does get 0-1 on hitters, is striking guys out at a 40% rate. So he's a K candidate as well. Sonoja is probably a 50-50 shot because he has a decent K percentage against lefties, but also does have a decent chase percentage. So what's really helping us here, especially if we get no Edwards or no Fortes, is we do have Mike Estabrook behind the plate. Mike Estabrook is not quite Bill Miller, but is a very, very pitcher-slanted umpire. He is averaging about 17 strikeouts a game over the last 3 years, and his walk rate, which for umps is about 8.5% average, is down at about 8. He does have a wide zone. He also has a wider zone in the areas Luzardo throws. So if the Marlins do want to take, which in the zone or close to the zone, they do have 6 of 9 that take pitches in the zone, they're putting themselves in a position to strike out. So I think if you're looking at this one, you have to look at the over. You want Fortes or Edwards out. I'm assuming that I'm sure Edwards will lead off. The question is if Fortes will be in and if he will be batting in the 8-hole or in the 9-hole. Now, there's a few other guys that they could put in for some of the other ones that might make a difference, but the ones that you really want in if you want the over is you want Hernandez, Wagaman, Norby. So Hernandez, Wagaman, Norby for an over. And you don't want Edwards or Fortes. Now, if it's as projected, I'm coming up with about 6.5 on the dot. And so what I would lean here is if this is the exact lineup and the line doesn't make any crazy movements, that's going to make me think otherwise, is I'm going to take a look at potentially a half unit here on the over because of Estabrook. Umpires are always my tiebreaker, especially when it's at plus money. And, I don't factor this in or say I've talked endlessly about how I have no idea what these guys' motivations are. I have no idea if they ate breakfast this morning or if they woke up on the wrong side of the bed or the right side, or if they're jacked or if they're nervous. Why you can't gauge motivations, but there is the angle is that he is going back and pitching in Miami. And so he is pitching in Miami, which is a place he spent multiple seasons in. So, that can always tend to have some sentimental value. I don't try to put a number to it just because like inherently, like I'm a numbers guy, so it's really hard to factor in like well, he'll be jacked up today. Well, how do you know that? Do you know him? Like I don't talk or text Jesus Luzardo, so I couldn't possibly tell you if he's like all jacked up or if he's nervous or whatever his motivations are. But you do have the angle of him going back. But the numbers do say that there is definitely a potential for 7 here. So that'll be Luzardo. But first thing before we go on, I apologize. This is actually my bad because I was going to mention this. Shout out to Berg and welcome in. I have to shout out what happened yesterday with the Arkansas pitcher. For those who didn't watch it, man, that was a start for the ages. Arkansas against Murray State. And it was just an absolutely incredible start by Gage Wood. Gage Wood went all 9 innings and had a no-hitter, actually a perfect game, and threw 119 pitches and struck out 19. So I actually had a few people message me and be like, did you take his over? And I'm like, I don't think they do College World Series pitcher overs, or I haven't seen any, but I don't think that the line would have been 19 and a half. So Gage Wood absolutely destroyed Murray State yesterday. And again, 119 pitches, perfect game, 19 strikeouts, just absolutely incredible. In fact, going back and looking, I'm not even sure that he even got into many 3-ball counts, to be quite honest with you. I didn't actually count it, but I don't think that he even got like more than maybe 1 or 2 3-ball counts. And I was just kind of going through the play-by-play, and I'm already on like the 4th inning, and I think 1. I think he was like 1 or 2 3-ball counts. So absolutely dominant start. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Luke Murphy saying no, he did hit a guy. You're right. He hit a guy. So no hitter, almost a perfect game, but still absolutely incredible start. Shout out to Eric. Thank you for joining, and welcome into you as well. And welcome in to our New York Times bestselling author, Luke Murphy. Thank you for joining, and always good to have you with my guy. All right. Next up, we have lefties galore here today. We have Andrew Abbott facing my Twins. Andrew Abbott, it's the Twins at home, and this guy, Andrew Abbott, is striking guys out at a 26.1% clip and walking guys at an 8.2% clip. He gets the Twins who come to town, and we have an over 5.5 at +100 and an under at -128. So I talked about how if you don't have a blazing four-seam fastball, you need location, pristine location. And that is what Andrew Abbott does. I've talked about this before, is that he's one of those guys where it's like, I don't know how he strikes guys out, but he strikes guys out. And he strikes guys out by having a pristine location on his four-seam fastball, because his overall velo is only like 92.5, somewhere in that range. He can run it up to 94, 95, but that's still not a put-away pitch. The way he gets guys is by having great location, painting the corners, and also putting guys into strike and 1-2 pitcher counts, where he does have a strikeout percentage near 40%. So the main pitch for him for his out pitch is his curveball, which does have a 31.7% put away rate, which he uses typically in the later innings after he set them up with the four-seam fastball. Andrew Abbott is actually a very, very smart pitcher. He's actually just a really smart guy. If you don't know about him, he's actually he's got like advanced engineering degree and something like that, and I think he might even have like 2 masters. But I heard the Reds announcers talking about it one time, is that, man, like he is just a smart dude. He pitches smart. He pitches methodically. He knows that he doesn't have a dominating fastball that he can just blow by guys. So he uses a wide array of junk and changes speeds and changes heights. And that was one thing that Clark Schmidt did early that he stopped doing later in the game last night, that actually the Todd Frazier and the people on the Yes Network were talking about, is that when you don't have an overpowering fastball, because even though Schmidt ran it up to like 96, that's still not dominating, is that if you only have like a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball, the big thing, because some people think location is part of it, but the big thing, because Todd Frazier talked about this, was changing heights. And so if you can change heights consistently and still paint the strike zone, what you do is you change the batter's field of vision. And what the field of vision can do is, instead of having to pay attention to, say, like the top third of the plate, they have to pay attention to the whole thing. And that's what Abbott makes you do. Now he gets a Twins team who's coming in a slump after our big run. We're coming in a slump. I've talked about my Twins before. They're a 500 team. They're going to be a 500 team this year. Maybe a little better. Maybe we sneak into the second wild card. But unless we make any big, huge moves, which we won't because the team's being sold, this is just kind of who we're going to be. Now, they are striking out 25.6% of the time to lefties. And so there is a lot of strikeout potential. And they've also had a lot of strikeout issues recently. You may remember that Hunter Brown torched them, and there were some other strikeout issues just recently in this slump. Now, limited history for Abbott against the Twins, only of the projected lineup, only 5 total plate appearances. So you can't use that a whole lot. But what I use for Abbott then, in absence of any past history, is that he is in the zone 50% of the time. So I do use zone contact, which with this Twins lineup lately has been severely lacking, because we do have 9 projected righties, which isn't that big of a surprise for the Twins. But you look at these righties and you look at the zone contact that is going to be expected from this lineup. And you obviously have Buxton, who is under. You do have Jeffers is over, Correa's decent, but then you get to Castro and Brooks Lee, and you have it's kind of a mismatch. So even guys at the end, like Harrison Bader, who's down at 80.5%. So for me, I am looking at an over here for Abbott against the Twins. I'm also looking at the fact that this, they finally brought his K line up. They had him at 5.5 against the Guardians, but they finally brought his K line up to 5.5, which is probably where it's going to stay. His outs are set at 17.5 juice to the over, which indicates a 6-inning start. And in games where he has gone 18 or more outs, or recorded 18 or more outs, he does have extremely good K history. In his last 10, for example, 18 or more outs, he got the Orioles for 11, he got the White Sox for 7, he got the Cubs for 8, he got Milwaukee for 6. The only one that he didn't record a 6+ strikeouts is the Guardians, when he pitched a complete game against them. But also that was because he was running out of steam at the end. So this is a clear over spot for me, especially if we're going to get this projected lineup. The guys that I'm wanting in for here are Buxton, who I'm sure will lead off. I'm also going to want Harrison Bader. I'm also going to want Willie Castro. Guys that I would prefer not to have, Ty France would be nice not to have, even though I'm sure he'll be in. And I think Ty France would probably be about it. I'm not even that concerned. Well, and Vasquez, if Vasquez is not in as well, because both of those have very high zone contact. All right. Welcome in. Metaverse. Welcome in. Thank you. And good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining, and welcome in. And thank you to Biz for reposting this stream. Appreciate it. All right. We'll close with Robbie Ray, the Robbie Ray experience, taking the place of our little Blake Snell recently. Striking guys out at a 28.1% clip, walking guys at a 10.1% clip. He gets the Guardians at 9:45 Eastern time tonight. We have an evenly juiced 6.5, -115 versus -110. No Guardians tax on this one, and I can very easily see why. So I look at Robbie Ray, and there's a couple of things that stand out. So if you look at past history, you're automatically going to lean under. Reason being is because the Guardians do have 3 strikeouts in 32 plate appearances against Ray, but hold the phones because that is limited to 4 guys. And the majority of plate appearances are limited to 3 guys, and it's the 3 you always suspect. It's Kwan, it's Ramirez, and it's Santana. It's always those 3. They all have low K percentages. They're all dead spots. Fine. So we go to the rest of the lineup, and then we have to ask ourselves, can Robbie Ray get 7 from the rest of the lineup? And you look at a combination of things. Number one is I'm looking at whiff percentage to a slider, which is Ray's main out pitch, and actually the only other pitch he throws besides a four-seamer to lefties. And I'm also looking for zone swing and zone contact rate. Reason being is because when Ray gets ahead in the count, he strikes guys out at 45.2% versus when he gets behind, he strikes guys out at 13.9. Huge discrepancy, one of the biggest among all starters today. So I go and I look and I see that we do have a number of Guardians hitters that do swing pretty freely in the zone. However, of the ones that swing above league average in the zone, you got Fry, who's projected to bat cleanup and who is way under league average in zone contact. You got Arias, who can be a walking strikeout. He's actually under 70. He's actually under 67% zone contact, not chase, zone in the strike zone. You also have Rodriguez, who's actually worse, who's actually almost down in the low 60s for zone contact. And you do have, while Naylor, who is projected to bat in the 8 hole, does swing a lot often in the zone, he also has just league average zone contact. Now I go and I look and I see the slider whiff percentage. And the slider whiff percentage is there for 5 of these 9 hitters, them being Fry, even Santana, Arias, Rodriguez, Naylor. Then, even to hit Ray's secondary out pitch against righties, the changeup, you have a 40% whiff rate or more for Arias, Rodriguez, and Thomas. What I'm getting at here is that Arias and Rodriguez can both strike out multiple times. So right now, they're projected for the 6 and the 7 hole. If they're anywhere higher, that's all the better for us, but it's all we need is them in the lineup. You also have Fry, who's projected to bat cleanup, who does have a 47.8% K percentage to lefties, and he also has a 72.1% contact percentage in the zone, which is 10% under batter average. So you have Fry, you have Arias, you have Rodriguez, you have even Lane Thomas, who is projected to bat in the 2 hole, takes pitches in the zone and has under 77% zone contact. He's a potential K percentage. What I'm getting at here is that there are 5 guys in this lineup that are either have a high or very high percent chance to strike out, meaning over 50% chance that they will get recorded at least 1 K. And the ones that are, then there's 2 of them, that being Arias and Rodriguez, who have a very high chance to strike out, meaning probably 67 to 75%. If Ray sees him 3 times, it's almost certain he'll get them once, barring any craziness elsewhere. So when you have that many guys who can record a strikeout, you have probably 5 to even 6 from those guys right there. Then what it does is it completely negates Juan Ramirez and Santana. So that would mean that he would have to get Naylor and Martinez maybe once, maybe twice, or if he gets Juan Ramirez and Santana, which, I mean, he has gotten all 3 of them once before. Granted, it's in a lot of plate appearances, but even if he gets 1, then that's 1 less strikeout that you have to worry about elsewhere. So I am going to wait for the final lineup construction, but man, there is swing galore and there is whiff galore outside of those 3 for the Guardians. I've talked about this before. Is that the Guardians are very top and bottom heavy. Is that the top 3 have exceptional contact percentage and exceptionally low strikeout percentage. The rest of them there just isn't a lot of contact percentage across this lineup, specifically in the zone and specifically for guys that are in the everyday lineup, those being Arias, Fry, etc. So there's more than enough Ks to be had here. There's more than enough strikeouts to be had in this game for Robbie Ray. So if this is the lineup they run, this is a very, very clear look at the over. I get why the line is set at a 6.5 with even juice, because you do have a very, very low strikeout percentage from past history. But again, you got to remember is that it's only 3 guys, and it's 3 guys who are who are evenly spaced out in the lineup, and there's plenty of Ks surrounding them. So that's where I'm looking at for Mr. Robbie Ray. All right. Other looks and other sides, totals, etc., that I'm looking at for today. I think, especially after last night when Cease pitched a gem and took a tough one there, I actually think that there's value on the Padres tonight. I think that plus 185, given the spot they're in. I know Vasquez is bleh, but I think that the plus 185, I think is a good value number. I'm not going to go out and say like they're going to win the game for sure, but it's a good value number. I think that given what I said about Abbott minus 122, even though I normally just do plus money lines, I think that that's a reasonably fair price. And it's interesting because, and I get why, because Liberatore is, but there is some value on the White Sox at plus 130 at home. So home dogs in baseball can tend to at least carry some value if there's other factors involved, and especially when the other team just has kind of a meh starter, and that's what St. Louis has tonight. So again, not saying that like I would go hammer it, but there is value on the White Sox at plus 130. I think that there is definitely value on the Reds, even at minus 122. This one's shooting up though. So opened at 116. We lost 6 cents already. So if you wanted anything on that one, I'd probably go now. And the Padres at plus 185 has enough value to make it worth your time. For other ones, for totals, I think, I mean, it sounds so weird to say, but I got to look at an under in the Yankees and Angels game. The Yankees offense has just been horrendous lately. Barely could put up any runs in Boston, didn't put up any against Jose Soriano, actually didn't put up any period last night. And on the other side, you do have a decent starter in Will Warren. So I think that the under 9 actually has value in that game. And then the other one that I would look at is I would also look at a Twins team total under. Kind of goes along the lines with what I was saying about Mr. Abbott. All right. We might have some comments. Let's see. We got we got a couple of comments about Brian Woo from Kid Keon. Welcome in. And Roger has a question about him as well. So we'll take Woo first, and then we'll go to David Peterson. Woo, over is the only way you can look against this team. You have a nice mix because you do have 7 of the projected 9 in the Red Sox lineup that are under when it comes to zone contact. You also have a pitcher's umpire in Sean Barber tonight. And as we've talked about here many times, Woo lives in the zone, 57.1%. It's one of the highest in the league, and he does not deviate. Even if he's getting hit, he will not deviate. He trusts his fastball, and he trusts the fact that he can paint the corners for sliders, etc. So, Brian, if you're playing this one, I think the only way you can look is over. Who you'd want in the lineup is you'd want Mayer, you would want Story, you'd want Narvaez, and you'd probably want Gonzalez. So those are the ones that, and then as far as like who you wouldn't want, like them to get Rafael Devers back. I don't know. No, like in all seriousness, like bring Kevin Youkilis back. I don't know, but in all seriousness, there's just not a whole lot of zone contact throughout this lineup. The only one with a really good amount of zone contact in this lineup is the kid Anthony, and that's in very, very limited plate appearances. So Toro does have decent zone contact as well, who's projected to bat in the 2-hole. The problem is, though, Wu has gotten him 2 out of the 5 times he's faced him, and he does have a decent whiff percentage to a slider, which is the one primary pitch outside the zone or chase pitch that Wu does throw. But all these guys swing in the zone. The only ones that don't are the kid Anthony and Campbell. And even Campbell, Wu has gotten him both times he's faced him. So over is the only way that you can look in that one. I'll go to Peterson here. So David Peterson, I thought about Peterson. David Peterson is the kind of guy where like he can look just so dynamite to start with and then can just pitch himself out of games. So when I look at his overall lines, they look right about where they should be. And the other thing with me is that he does have a walk prop of 2, so it's either over 1.5 or under 2.5 with some heavy juice. And so I'm seeing 5 across this lineup. I'm just not. I just don't know if I see 6. And so the plus money sounds tempting, but I've been burned too many times by this dude to make me want to try to back him in the first game of a series on the road. So I'm going to pass on it, but I certainly wouldn't play a heavily juiced under on the Braves, even if it's at home. And then we got Cover Kings saying Wu 5Ks and Mariners over 2.5 runs is a little combination there at plus 130. I think that would take Wu down 2, if I remember correctly, because I think he's at a 6.5. So if you wanted to lessen the load a little bit, you got Wu 5Ks and the Mariners over 2.5 runs. And thank you. And as always, welcome Cover Kings. All right. I think that's going to do it today, except for one more thing. So as much as I love being with y'all, I am going to be on a brief hiatus starting on Thursday. So we have a family vacation coming up. We're going to be down in Florida and down in the Caribbean. So if you're in VIP, I already posted this in VIP, you will still get plays. You will still get everything as normal. The only thing is that when you're in hotel rooms and whatever, it's hard to stream. So we'll be on as normal tomorrow, and then we'll be off from Thursday through the 29th. So 19th through the 29th. Nice little family summer vacation. It's also coupling with my son's senior year of high school. So senior, kind of like a senior family trip for him. So if there are any plays that I really, really like, that instead of a show, we'll still post stuff on Twitter, etc. So really the only thing that will be on hiatus will be the show. And so that will be starting on Thursday, the 19th, and we'll pick back up when I get back on the 30th. So on the air as normal tomorrow, and otherwise we'll be communicating via X. So Roger saying, OKC finally done playing with their food. It's over on Thursday. Yeah, since I was going to talk about the NBA Finals tomorrow, but just as a quick preview, the line is ominous for Indiana, especially if Halliburton's ankle won't cooperate. Obviously, he tweaked it last night and just had a very, very poor game. Could barely even go, and the line is very ominous. In a closeout game, I would have expected this to open somewhere around Oklahoma City minus 2.5. I would expect it to be under 1 possession, maybe even under a bucket, maybe even closer to a pick 'em. It's not. It's at a 5, so it's kind of an ugly number. But I do agree with Roger, is that these things always typically come out in the wash, and for all the stuff about the foul baiting and the other stuff that we talk about, and that I joke about for Oklahoma City, and as annoying as it was to watch against the Timberwolves, they are far and away the best team in the NBA. They're the deepest team. They're the most complete team. Jalen Williams is just on another planet right now. And so, in the games where Oklahoma City has struggled, it's been one of two things. Number one is that it's been where Shea is average and Shea and Williams are both average, or Shea is or Williams is, or one of them is just blah. But when both of them are playing that well and they run that double big lineup that they can run so many high screen actions off of, honestly, it's not fair. And I give the Pacers a ton of credit here, but it sounds cliche to just go chalk, but I think that Roger is absolutely right. Is that I definitely see the Pacers putting up a fight, but before I go bet on this game, I do want to see what the updates on Halliburton's health are, because the simple fact is, and for as much shit as I have talked about the ESPN announced team during the finals, and I roll my eyes, I will say that they made a really good point, is that even in the second half, when the Pacers kind of made a little run there, and they actually at one point cut it to one possession, is that for a lot of that time, and in the first half too, in the first half, right before it started to get away from them, Halliburton was out. And what that tells you is, in that situation, is that he's really hurt. And so maybe he gets some treatment, maybe it's better. We'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens. So I would agree with you, Roger. If you want to bet it now, I don't even know if I would. And the reason why I say that is because, maybe you can go now, because it opened at Oklahoma City -6. You do have 56% of the bets and 63% of the money right now that are on the Pacers. And so the line has moved in accordance with that down to 5. So you get a little bit of value. I'm not sure, especially as we get closer to game time and we start hearing reports on Halliburton's health. I'm not sure that it'll go too much better. I'm not sure it'll get too much better. And maybe you can get a 4.5. Maybe you can get a 4.5 on Oklahoma City. Honestly, unless he makes a miraculous recovery, I'm not sure that it's going to change. And this is kind of just to close out here, because we still have like a little bit of time from where we normally go, just because we got through everything else so quickly today. Just to go about the NBA Finals, is in 7-game series. This is usually what happens. Usually after game 4 or 5, is that the better team just starts to dominate. And Indiana looked worn down last night. And you can make all the jokes and comments, which I joke about it too, about Oklahoma City's defense / rugby. But the bottom line is that OKC is deeper. OKC has talent at spots that are in just key bad spots for the Pacers. And when Shea and Williams are playing how they did, or actually how they have over the last 2 games, the Thunder are I don't want to say they're unbeatable, but they're incredibly difficult to beat. So if you wanted to bet it now, I would just go chalk. I would take the Thunder. I would also look at the Oklahoma City team total over, and maybe a look on the full game. Maybe a look on the full game over. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see how things develop. So anyways, I think textiles. Daily spread. I like that. Okay, cool. I host the Daily Spread podcast. Oh, cool. Well, welcome in, Tex. Welcome in, and shout out to you and the Daily Spread podcast, and from the Daily Bread Network. I like it. Andrew saying Will Warren and Casey Mize. Case, well, against Baltimore, it's never a bad thing. Will Warren, I would look at the walks though. So one thing of note with Will Warren is that his walks are set at heavily juiced over 1.5, and he does not have good success when he walks 2. So we'll see how that develops during the day. But when Will Warren walks guys, and really against Anaheim, it shouldn't be at that because Anaheim has plenty of free swingers. That was what kind of just turned me off of him just entirely. But if you're playing okay prop against the Angels, the only way to do it is over. You especially can't pay juice on it on the road. So, all right, that's going to do it. One more time through the chat, shout out and thank you for joining Roger, Mario, Austin, Andrew, Adams Digest, JT, Kevin or Berg, Eric, Luke, Metaverse, Biz, Kid Keon, Tex, and I think that will do it. Oh, Kid Keon getting one in at the buzzer. Looking to take lighter under Ks for the Rangers against the Royals. I mean, it's a low number, but yeah, I totally understand. I totally get why you want to do that. Any guy that can't make guys miss in the zone against the Royals is always an under candidate. So I get it. And thank you, Andrew. Thank you all. Remember, I will be back tomorrow at the normal time. The vacation hiatus does start on the 19th and runs through the 29th, but still will post stuff on X. So thank you, everybody. Best of luck in everything you're tailing. I'm out of here.